Good evening, all. Hope you're keeping well. So this is a Monday evening swing session. So the idea here is to look for opportunities that might come out during the week. Now, there's a couple of things we've got to take into account. Obviously, the fundamentals and the possible effect of the some sentiment and etc. coming out and affecting the market. So, good evening, guys that have just joined there. Right, we're going to look then firstly at some of the news events that are coming out. I'm going to switch in between here, just going across for a summary this week on Forex Factory here actually, but the actual news, financial juice is superior, but Forex Factory here. So we've seen data already coming out, new home sales, not a biggie for the US dollar in real terms. More important today was ECB President Lagarde speaking. Doesn't seem to have moved the markets massively, although well, I'll come on to that in a moment. US tomorrow, US durable goods. This can certainly start moving the markets. And then we got the Reserve Bank of New Zealand monetary policy coming out, expected here to be as is, not increase. There was talk previously of potentially even an increase in rates when a lot of countries are looking to cut. They were looking to increase. You shouldn't ignore in the middle of that, I missed that Wednesday morning there, the inflation data from Australia, so very key there as well. So some key data coming in midweek which could affect obviously the Aussie, the New Zealand dollar here, particularly with the press conference following on from the cash rate itself. You can't prepare too much for that, but it might be best avoided in real terms. As we move through, we've got the US prelim GDP data coming out as well, quite key. It's not a massive mover, but then we've got, more importantly, on Thursday, we've got a bit of Australian retail sales, a bit more noise there, but the key figure really is the personal consumption expenditure coming out there on Thursday afternoon, US. There's a lot of people now expecting 0.4. It's been seen as looking less than that previously, but anyway, we'll see what comes from that. The core figure is the key thing. Gives them the central bank more of a guide to inflation that the consumer is experiencing. Okay, aside of that, then we're running into Friday and we're finishing the week off. Most importantly here, we've got the Reserve Bank of New Zealand governor speaking again on Friday, so it could be a week to steer clear of the New Zealand dollar if you don't want sudden frights. If you want to trade something through the week or intra-week, maybe it's okay. But we got US for the US dollar manufacturing PMI coming in there on the Friday afternoon. Probably be mostly done by then, but there is that. Well, I say the key figure of the personal consumption expenditure we've got to be bearing in mind with any swings. So I'm going to cut off and run through individual currencies here. And I'm going to talk about sentiment on them, etc., as we run through. So we'll start. Actually, you should look at the dollar index. Maybe I don't look at this so often, but let's just have a look if I can find the dollar index handy enough. It's not one oh, there it is. That's right. I don't. Okay, I've left this on previously. Look, the COT sentiment is bullish, still remains bullish, but if you look at the dollar index, it's actually been dropping off over the last just over a week now. We've been seeing it dropping off. The sentiment is still bullish. The sentiment is still bullish. Well, we'll see. They may be expecting something more of a kick in the US dollar yet. But it's already seems to be rolling over. In terms of news and normal times, etc., it often, the first couple of months, it holds in there, and as you run through into February, into March, the dollar tends to soften a bit more, but we'll see. But for now, well, not really a flag, not particularly a clean move whatsoever. as I say, this personal consumption expenditure is the key thing there for later in the week. US dollar there, US dollar, euro US dollar. Then we'll get onto that. We've seen the reaction last week into its monthly pivot. It's come off and reacted. It's popped back up a little bit today. It's I'll come down to, sorry, I'll just come down to the 4 hourly. Not that I don't want to come down too low. If I was looking on the short side of this market, I'll be looking at a break of these lows down here at 108.10 sort of area. Break it beyond the weekly pivot. At the moment, it remains erring on that bullish side. Obviously, all things could change come the news on Wednesday and Thursday. So that's the euro. The pound, I'm not seeing a great deal here in terms of the swing side of things. It's just really ranging. It's struggling into the yearly pivot here. Sorry, that's the monthly pivot. So I think it's actually sitting into, or is that the yearly? I can't really see which one's which. Actually, this is the yearly pivot underneath. That's the monthly pivot. They were very similar levels, but it's struggling around that area, not managing to push out at this stage. It's a throw of a coin. I'm not really, maybe intraday I can probably catch something off that, but not swing wise. US dollar yen looking more positive for further upside. Getting into it's probably easier said than done. It's already started moving back up there. It's broken my original trend I was looking for into late last week. That's sort of gone, and it started to move. Sentiment on the yen remains weak. And fundamentally there's a very weak sort of picture sitting there at the moment. A break of the highs there, it could just give a bit of a swing for the back up into this all-time high almost, or near to all-time in terms of the data I've got here high. Anyway, Aussie dollar could become more interesting as week goes on. Sentiment wise, it's been pretty soft. We do have data coming out. Of course, we've got inflation coming out on Wednesday. I saw something else later in the week there, so it could, well, that's for New Zealand, beg pardon, but it could be dragged with the New Zealand a little bit as well. We often see these two sort of pull one out, or if one pulls the other one along. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Anything particularly hawkish for the New Zealand dollar could have an added effect actually, and work its way on the Australian dollar. But the sentiment's really weak with it. It's not looking good. Maybe short-term trades, fine. It could have the scope, but I'd be looking for that breakdown of that key pivot. The dollar CAD, this is one I'm sort of looking to pick for the upside. We don't have a great deal of data this week on the CAD there, but obviously we have on the US aspect of it. It looks like it could be okay to continue its ride to the upside technically. I don't have anything that's lit. I mean, it was putting a pivot swing in which it sort of chipped into today, but it really isn't looking great at this stage. The New Zealand dollar, very risky with the central bank decision coming out on Wednesday for a swing. There's quite an expectation of more of a hawkish outlook than anything else, and that could have a knock-on effect here, so we could see it running up. Sentiment wise for the New Zealand dollar, it remains technically bullish on the sentiment. It's one of the few that's sort of running bullish against the rest of the market, so I would hold fire off that. If you think, well, I'll just sell into it now, it's running off of its yearly pivot. Could well be, but it all could change too quickly. Likes of the Swissy, we're just going sideways here, nothing particularly interesting. Yeah, at some stage it may break out. It could just be waiting for the US dollar news. The euro yen, he sighs. Euro yen got some scope here. I'm really looking to see if I can get a decent entry. It went before I could. So far it's come back off its new weekly pivot there, and is pushing up. really looking to buy on the retracements. Now, if there's a decent retrace amongst all of this, we'll see. But as I say, I'm just expecting yen weakness. So it could be against the euro, it could be US dollar, wherever gives us the best opportunity, really. But I haven't got something set up on this at the moment. Likes the euro pound, it's gone too choppy now. We've got news coming out this week which could completely mess that up, and we're sort of already going into this chop zone, so got to wait until it gets back into trend zone for me. Euro Aussie similarly, it has the scope for pushing up here, and I'm sort of looking at the Euro CAD. I was looking at this earlier on today, and well, that might just start breaking out and following through tomorrow. Now it could be a sort of a late buy order sitting in there. We have got to bear in mind there's resistance potentially sitting at these prior highs here, and it might be that any trade taken, it'd be better when the market's actually got some liquidity into it. Maybe tomorrow, as I say, in the morning we could get a shift into that. So it's on my short list. It's about one of the very few of the pairs that I've actually got on the short list here that I've got any interest in. Euro New Zealand, well, this could all be New Zealand could be a spoiler for this. Like I said, pound Aussie, not really interested in that. The pound CAD, again, it's got the potential to continue up there. The pound's it's got slightly a more bullish bias with its sentiment, etc., than the CAD, which has gone bearish again. So there's potential. It's just like it's already gone so far. Where's it going to go to? I'm sort of looking at the opportunities, and we've got resistance not too far ahead. The pound yen also has pushed up here, already gone. Really, again, it's looking for retracements. Now I don't have a lot else here. I'm sort of zipping through these markets very quickly on a daily basis. There was a lot of the trouble with the New Zealand pairings is that they're not really of great interest to me with the potential moves with the central bank meeting, and it's just even leading up to it. It's not particularly great. So things like the Aussie New Zealand, well, the New Zealand could outstrip the Aussie, of course, but it might. It's not really what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something that's got a bit more of a probability of happening. The Australian yen is pulling off at the moment. This might, another might, but I could be interested in this if it finds some support, maybe back into the previous highs there, into its R1. We'll see how it develops into its monthly R1, but there's some scope for this. CAD yen, the CAD's the weakest of the lot, or I say one of the weaker ones. Yeah, it could push up there, but there may be better opportunities. It's been pretty dull from last week. It was last Monday. It sort of sat there, and other markets. So if you look at the euro yen, it's moved up significantly since last Monday. This is just not really moving too much at all. So unless I don't know if you guys have got anything out there, this is going to be a very quick swing session today. I'm just looking at Swiss yen here, nothing that I want to look to get into. New Zealand dollar yen, again, it's got a large amount of risk with it as we run through for anything into the swing side. I will just take a quick look at other markets. We'll have a look at the indices. I know a lot of people are already talking down the S&Ps, but I haven't got a buy option, but the buy side would be my side to be on there. Yes, at some stage we're going to see a top put in, maybe, but it's not for me to be chasing it. Likes of gold has picked up a little bit more favour with the sentiment there, but not really driving particularly well. It is sitting there potentially in the channel. Actually, I haven't put the bottom line of the channel on, but there's scope if it can break the upper side of the descending channel for further upside, but it's not there yet. Crude, it's just chopped. It really is. It's not in the right mode at the moment. The sentiment on that has gone very bullish. Maybe we'll get a break and a go with could give us a few dollars movement, but at the moment it's stuck there. Looked at the markets there and looked at Nasdaq, same as the S&Ps. These markets really not interested in any of these. The DAX has been pushing up nicely. Again, it's gone. There was a sort of little pivot swing there into late last week. There, Thursday, it pushed up solidly from that. The FTSE's really sort of been dragging behind here, not really running through. Not particularly looking for that too interesting. So, Michael, you're only looking at New Zealand dollar for potential retrace then. Looking at retest of neckline on double bottom. Right, okay, yeah. Yes, yeah. I mean, this. I think with personally, when I'm looking at this, I'm just sort of thinking whether it can break the highs here. We could just use that as possibly the signal for the continuation. It's pop the bottoms in here. Should have around about a 1-to-1. It's not going to give. It depends on what it does beforehand here. If it can keep support, that's fine, and start edging its way back up, consolidating its phase. It could be interesting to the upside to work out the range here between this, as I say, this double bottom or a slightly higher low. We'll see how that develops, but that is all I've got for you guys. I'm afraid I'd love to say, well, there's a lot more there, but with the news coming out as it is, the lack of real patterns that I'm seeing in the market at the moment, there's lots and lots of chop. Euro CAD then, in summary, is one that I'm looking at potentially for a bit of a continuation there. The New Zealand pairs, etc. I've got to let the news come out for me on that. And the other pair I'm looking at is this US dollar yen. If we can get any sort of retracement, it would be nice, but it could just be taken on a bit of a breakout. But there we go. So it's a short one this week, just 18 minutes. So I wish you a great day's trading. If you've got anything you want to add to it, just pop it on the system here, put it onto one of the rooms, and I will I'll discuss it there. But for now, I wish you all a great Monday, great week, and I'll catch you each morning. Bye for now.